Hi, this is Joanna from Custom Quilts, and today I'm going to show y'all how to quilt a feathered wreath. And so I've got a 16-inch square piece of fabric that I've loaded on my long arm. And the first step that we need to do is, so I've divided this space up because I want to do a smaller feathered wreath, kind of like this one up here. And so this is an 8-inch square that I'm going to be filling up with this. And the first thing we need to do is mark the center of it. So I'm going to use my ruler to mark an X. So that's going to show me where my center is. And I'm actually going to bring this out just a little bit, and I'll tell you why in 1 second. Extend these lines for more reference. Okay, so I've marked my center. And the next important thing that you need to do, or that I do whenever I'm quilting feathered wreaths, and there's definitely more than one way to do this. This is just my favorite way to do it. So I like to get some kind of circle template, and usually I'll just pull things from my sewing room. This is a lid to a pre-wound bobbin container. And so if I'm working in a smaller space, I would use this. This circle is too small for the size of square that I want to fill, because my feathers are going to be like this big on the outside, and then they're going to be teeny tiny on the inside. And so I want to kind of keep that scale similar. They don't have to be exact, but that's going to be too big of a difference for what I want to do. So I'm going to get rid of that shape. Another shape that I'll pull is a spool of thread, like a large spool, or a cone, sorry. That's a little bit better. It's not too much bigger than what I previously had, so I'm probably not going to use that for this size either. And the next thing that I have is, don't laugh at me, but it's a hand wipe container, and it's the perfect size. This is like the perfect size for what I want to do. And so the reason that I've extended these lines is my circle isn't clear. Like, I can't make sure that it's centered because I can't see through this. And so I'm going to kind of get over it and center it the best that I can. And then I'm going to trace that circle out, and I'm just using white school chalk. This isn't anything really special. Just get some water and a paper towel to rub it away. It hangs on a little bit better than Choco liner does. And you can see I did an all right job. My circle isn't completely centered, but for this purpose, it's okay. If this were a show quilt or something, I would definitely wipe that off and correct it so that it's perfectly centered. Okay, so the next step is I like to mark my feathers kind of as a reference point. I won't always follow my marks when I start quilting, but I like to just give myself a good idea of what my feathers are going to look like. And so on the sides here and here, your feathers are going to be a little bit shorter. On the corners, they're going to be longer so that you fill that space. And if you want to do some kind of cool swirly feather to fill that better, I like to do that sometimes just because it looks cool. So I'm going to go ahead and pencil that in so I remember to do it. Good, good, good. So I'm just going to mark this real quick. I promise I'll do some quilting here in just 1 second. All right, so I filled that in. I like how that looks, and I can tell that my feathers on the inside are going to be similar in size. They will still be a little bit smaller, but that's cool. That's fine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pencil these in, or chalk them in rather. Okay, so I've got some good guidelines for where to start. I can put my chalk down. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring my machine over. And somewhere on this inner circle, I'm going to go ahead and pull my bobbin thread up to the top. And then I'm going to do a couple stitches in place to secure my thread so I can get started. All right, great. Get that handle out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start quilting my plumes. Okay, so I did kind of half a feather, and that's because I didn't have another feather to go into or to land on. and then I backtracked up the top of the feather. Now I'm going to come back out and around and quilt this next feather. And then do it again. Okay, so for this corner one, I did kind of a dramatic little swirl feather to fill the space a little bit better. Okay, I did another one over here. Come up, do another feather, trace up, and then once I get a little past the top of this feather, that's where I stop and I'm going to go into my next one. Okay, now I'm stopping where I started. So I've got the outside of my feathered wreath quilted. Now I'm ready to go ahead and start moving to the inside of this. Okay, so here we go. And you can see I'm kind of staggering these feathers. So like this one came out further, this one I stopped a little more in. You can definitely tell right here that this feather is shorter than this one. I'm just doing that because I like to do it that way. It's personal preference. You can do it however you like to fill the space. Okay. So we've got that one done. Let me kind of spray this and take the chalk away. Okay, so that's a good attempt at a feathered wreath. And I will say it's a lot easier to fill round areas and not try to make your feathered wreath square, because you're taking a circular object and trying to make it into a square. And if you don't do it all the time, then it's difficult to kind of fill that space without making it look weird. And you definitely don't have to do these big dramatic loopy feathers. You could keep them the same size as the others and just not fill this space and then come back and do pebbles or something to fill that up. So I hope that you'll try this out. This is a really simple technique. It's just feathers, but it's around a circle. And so you're kind of stacking them together. All right. So I'd love to hear if you try this. Let me know what you think. I thought it'd be cool to show you this using the smallest template that I sometimes use. And so I'm going to go ahead and I didn't mark my center on this. I kind of just eyeballed it. Okay, so I've got my center of my wreath marked, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to mark my feathers on the outside this time. but I am going to mark my reference feathers for the inside. Okay, so let's go ahead and quilt this out and see what it looks like. And I'm going to start on the outside and then work my way in. All right. So I was just bringing my bobbin thread up. Now I'm going to go ahead and start. So I just did my little swirly plume out on the corners to fill that space up a little bit better than a regular feather. All right, and you can see I have enough space for just one more feather, so I'm going to quilt that one in. And then go back in. All right, now I'm going to start quilting the inside of my circle. And oh Lord, I did not measure that out well. So you can see I messed up a little bit right here because of poor planning. I didn't plan that out very good. But this is the smaller size of the feathered wreath, and I really like the way that it looks aside from that mistake. So I hope that you'll give this a shot. I really like using different size circles to kind of vary the sizes of my feathered wreaths. I think that's a really cool technique without having to spend a lot of money on supplies. So I hope that you will go and try this. It's a lot of fun. Maybe practice doodling a couple times and then give it a shot. Thanks for watching.